Okay, back to the question. Once it is, how can I overcome physical symptoms which I have 24/7? Alright. So physical symptoms are not the root cause. They're just a consequence of anxiety. So if you actually fix the root cause, you will be able to deal with physical symptoms. That's a long answer, but you need actual actionable tips. So the first thing to know is practice somatic tracking for your physical symptoms, right? So think of it like this. If you were to actually feel your body and just a heart palpitation or just a shortness of breath or just a tightness in your body, like whatever it is, you can only feel that as you feel that with fear, right? You're like, oh my god, what's happening? You hyper focus on it. It's called hypervigilance in like nervous system work and in the neuroscience world, basically, right? And all you need to do is learn how to pay attention to the sensation itself with curiosity, because the same part of your brain that processes fear is the same part of your brain but there's curiosity, right? So if you can notice, like, what is that sensation moment to moment? Where exactly in my body do I feel it? What does it actually feel like? Is it a stabbing? Is it a tightening? And the reason you're doing this is you're letting yourself actually open to the sensation and just notice, what does it actually feel like? So that's one thing. The second thing is, in order to deal with your physical symptoms, obviously these physical symptoms are happening because you're in fight or flight. So if you get your nervous system out of fight or flight, that will help how much physical symptoms you feel. How can you do that? A regulation tool, a nervous system tool. These things were developed for humans to do, to regulate their stress, but we weren't taught this in schools. So if you were like stressed for an exam, it was kind of just like be stressed and try and get a good mark, right? So practice nervous system tools. One of the ones I like is like a butterfly hug, where you cross your hands and you pat your chest one by one. Another one I really like is a physiological sigh, where you take 2 inhales and a long exhale out your mouth. Like Andrew Huberman made this technique like widely effective, but it's been around for so long. Okay, thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you for the like, Jazz, Forest Kid, all you guys. Okay. Okay. I hope you guys can hear. It's cutting off again. Comment yes if you can hear me, or if you can't once it is. Alright, so can you hear me now? Is it cutting off right now? I don't know why it is cutting off right now. Like, actually, if I say that, you won't be able to hear me. Okay, amazing. Okay. Thank you, Forest Kid. I was stressing for a second there. Okay. So another question I got just on my free community is, how can I deal with insomnia? How can I deal with anxiety when I'm going to go to sleep, right? And this is a really common thing I hear. So the first thing you can do, and Healthy Gamer, who's a famous clinician that helps people go to sleep with anxiety, he was like, first thing to do is put your phone out of your bedroom, right? Like, just put a screen away. And this is because screens, A, they kind of activate a little bit of your fight or flight. B, they have something called blue light, right? And your eyes and how sleepy you feel is dependent upon light, right? It's not, there's a reason why we're awake during like daytime and we go to sleep at night. Like, a part of that is your circadian rhythm and how you actually regulate your sleep and your anxiety. Well, like, the reason I say that is because sleep is foundational to everything else. Like, even if I do my regulation tools and I exercise and I eat healthy, if I don't have enough sleep, I am going to be giving myself a significant disadvantage, as opposed to if I did get like 7 to 8 hours sleep, right? So some of you guys are getting like no sleep, are on your phones like 24/7, staying inside, and then wondering why you're anxious. And I'm not saying that that's like wrong and you're wrong to do that, because I get how exhausting it is, and especially if you're scared to go outside, I get how exhausting that is. But there's little things that you can do that are in your control. So for example, you can start with putting your phone outside of your room, monitoring your screen time, right? You can start doing exposure therapy to go outside. So like for example, if I can only go outside for like 20 minutes, or even worse than that, if you have like agoraphobia and you associate places that isn't your safe place with anxiety, start by going like 1 minute outside your safe place. And just try that. Like it's called actually, instead of 1 minute, do 2 minutes. Because there's a 2 minute rule called in Atomic Habits, right? And it says start with your exposure therapy for 2 minutes and then build yourself up. Because anything you can do for 2 minutes. You can even be anxious for 2 minutes. Like you can survive that and then just build yourself up. Do vidas. I have more and more better days. And that's amazing. And like it kind of goes from like you start having a couple better days and you have a lot of better days, and then sometimes it's like all better days are gone and you're kind of like like a low peak, and then you go up again, and then over time it kind of stabilizes. At least for me, that's how it was. But the more and more better days you have are just a sign of whatever work you're doing, whatever inner work, it's just working. Like it's just a reflection of that, right? It's like if you go to the gym for 3 months, you're going to feel stronger and you're going to, look better physically speaking. If you meditate for 60 days, you are likely to gain more awareness of your thoughts. You're likely to have more concentration. You're likely to have a more awareness of your symptoms, right? Clara, my only symptoms is nausea, including vomiting, and I get scared of it all the time. Do you have any tips? So, no, I had loads of gut issues. I had IBS for 10 years. I had colitis and a bunch of inflammation in my gut. And like one of the symptoms I would get is abdominal pain, nausea, constipation, not so much vomiting, but I understand that's obviously what you get. So here's what you need to understand why you're getting digestive symptoms, right? Nausea, vomiting, things like that. Your gut and your brain is connected, right? So your gut and your brain is connected, and there's more evidence to suggest that your gut influences the brain more than your brain actually influences your gut. So like you can look this up, but 95% of your serotonin is made in your gut. And guess what's not exactly happening in your nervous system when you are in fight or flight? There isn't exactly like floodgates of serotonin or peace or happiness happening, right? So obviously you being in fight or flight and you being anxious is gonna affect something called your gut microbiome, right? So essentially your gut has good bacteria and bad bacteria, and you want to have a good balance, right, of the two as well, right? And that's going to influence how you feel. So for nausea, I would first suggest start doing the usual things for anxiety, because if your nausea just popped up because you were being anxious, then it's probably a sign of your anxiety. But like if it's popped out like you were a confident person and it popped out and you were still confident, popped up, then like it might be due to something else. But it kind of sounds like you have now health anxiety about your nausea. So somatic tracking for the nausea. What does the nausea actually feel like? Can I notice it mindfully, right? That matters. Eating low inflammatory foods, right? No need to eat like if you go to a grocery store and then you look at the ingredients in whatever food you're about to eat, and it has like 10/9 has things like glucose syrup, palm oils. That's not good for your body, and that's not going to be good for your gut, right? You want to eat foods that if you were to put it outside, it would go bad, right? Like, because like all these companies, right, with all these chocolates and processed foods that taste really good, right? They literally work in a lab, look at the composition of what ingredients makes a food taste good, like hits those dopamine receptors in someone's brain to make them eat more of it. So I know it tastes good, but like guess what those foods aren't good for? They aren't good for your gut. And your taste buds are literally desensitized because of those foods. And if you actually go clean for like a couple weeks, fruit starts tasting as good as like a sugary cookie would, if that makes sense. So low inflammatory foods. Like whenever I was trying to heal my IBS and colitis, I noticed like gluten. If I had gluten a lot, my symptoms would get worse. So I avoided gluten, right? And it wasn't easy. Sugar, humans should avoid regardless of anxiety or no anxiety. Now, the only like real controversial opinion is with meat, because some people go on things like the carnivore diet, especially if they have autoimmune diseases, and it heals them completely. And then other people, if they go plant-based, they like they they thrive basically, and their body heals. For me personally, the one going plant-based for a little bit definitely helped. I still eat chicken here now and then. I still eat, yeah, chicken is really the only thing I eat there now. You know what I mean? Thank you for the likes, mama. Blep, what the dog doing? I don't have a dog. I'm assuming that's what you meant. So Kurt Lewis, what is the course you do? So I'm assuming, I think you mean about like my pet other community that is paid, I guess. I guess that's what you mean, if not. So if you're talking about courses I've specifically made, there's a free course called 7 Ways to Reset Your Anxiety in 60 Seconds, which goes through 7 nervous system regulation tools that are quick somatic tools that you can do to your body that helps your nervous system get out of their fight or flight response, right? The other course that's free, by the way, is a 6-day compassion meditation course. So if you dive a little bit deeper into like your nervous system and trauma and like, why am I so anxious? What is my limiting beliefs? Most often it's something called like psychological shame and lack of self-love and compassion for yourself, whether that's due to trauma as a child, trauma from an adult, from partners, just like low self-esteem, whatever it is. A lot of it is connected to shame. So if you heal shame and you start building compassion for yourself, that helps regulate your nervous system and help regulate mine, because you kind of don't trust your body when you have anxiety, but then you need to start trusting your body and building compassion. So that's free as well. In terms of the actual course I do that's like more extensive, I have a 21-day meditation course for anxiety, because meditation is hands down the number one thing I learned that helped me regulate my nervous system. Because I realized I didn't have to listen to an anxious thought, and I could actually feel my body and feel my breath. And when you do that, your nervous system kind of leaves fight or flight. And I made a post about this on TikTok today. If your mind stays in the present moment, right? You actually stay present. Are not lost in your head, and you're actually in your body and you're present. Your nervous system will not go into fight or flight. Your nervous system won't go into fight or flight because you're present. You think your body knows you're safe. You're feeling instead of thinking and feeling fear, right? Now, your nervous system will only go into fight or flight if there is an actual threat, like there's a tiger chasing me or someone with a gun, and I actually need to fight or flight. Then my nervous system will go into fight or flight, as it should. But if you actually stayed present through mindfulness and you paid attention to your physical symptoms with curiosity, you would go into fight or flight less. And you can see this from the people that are actually doing like my meditations. Now, obviously I'm biased, but like you don't have to do my meditation course. You can do Adi Shanti's great, Sam Harris is great, Locke Kelly's great. But the main thing is you practice and at least do it every day, right? In that group, in that course, if you want to call it, I kind of like to think of it as a community, because a course is just a part of it. There's like group calls where instead of this, you're like on a video call with me and everyone else, and then it's every time you do your exposure therapy or you do a meditation or you do something positive, like you go to a big restaurant or you make a speech that's something you're scared of, you get to post it in the wins chat, and you have to track each time you do the healthy habit, and people get to encourage you. That thing is called happy healing. That's pretty much the thing I do. Excuse me, guys. Okay. Ari, have I ever tried anxiety meds or all natural? Okay, so a little. I wasn't like. I basically, if you see my. Okay, that was an accident. I didn't even mean to do that. So basically, if you see my story, I took medication and it made my gut worse. So I stopped. Like, they even gave me antibiotics on top of everything, and it made my gut worse. So I was like, no, I'm in a worse position than I started. So I was just like, no, like, they didn't even take time to like listen to me or like really understand me. They were like, okay, you have anxiety, okay, you have gut issues, let me just prescribe you medication. And I was like, I will do whatever it takes to like not feel like this, because surely being a human, surely being alive is not supposed to feel this like, I'm not supposed to suffer this much. So it was all natural for me. And in my opinion, each to their own. Like, I know loads of people that are healing anxiety naturally, but they also do like take some medication, or they at least did it short term just to get through a certain phase. But it's not good for you long term. Like, in my opinion, medication and antidepressants and SSRIs and propanol and sertraline and all the medications, I think it should be a last resort. I think it should be something you do after you've tried things naturally and you're in a really, really tough place and you have to like everything else is failing and like you just need something to keep you going. In those instances, I think medication can be very helpful. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Could feeling weak and shaky be a symptom of anxiety? I'll feel like I haven't eaten, though I have. Okay. So 1, when you're out of fight or flight, it's called the parasympathetic state, and another nickname for it called is rest and digest. So even if you're eating food, it's possible that you're not digesting it properly, right? So you're not actually getting the energy you need from food. So that's point 1. The second point is when your nervous system is in fight or flight, your body's not functioning as it should, basically 80%, 90% of the time, most of the time. So your cortisol is being pumped in your blood. That's the stress hormone, and it's draining your body of energy. Basically, you're only supposed to be in fight or flight for a short amount of time. So after the lion has stopped chasing you, after the man with the gun, you've gotten away from the man with the gun, you're not supposed to still stay in fight or flight. So that is taking from your body's energy reserves, right? It's creating inflammation in your body, and that could be why you feel shaky and weak. Now, this is assuming you went to an actual doctor and you got a checkup, and like physically and like physiologically you were fine, and it's because of anxiety. Like, obviously, if you have like physical symptoms out of nowhere, go see a doctor. Ari, dizziness is my worst symptom. So a lot of people I've noticed are saying they deal with dizziness, they deal with neck pain and headaches. So one thing to really do is make sure your posture is okay, first of all, because every inch that your head goes forward, it's adding like 5 to 10 pounds of pressure on your neck and your head, right? So you want your neck to be straight and you want your crown of the head to be high in the sky. That's just a little phrase I like to use in my meditations to help people adjust their posture in the beginning. So that's 1. 2, try and do some like exercises for your suboccipital. That's the like area that usually gets tight after stress. It's associated with posture, tension, headaches, vision problems, loads of things, right? Dizziness, vertigo, tinnitus. It's associated with a lot of that, right? So make sure your suboccipital is nice by doing stretches, by doing neck stretches. He's called Dr. Alan or Adam or something like that. But if you search up tension headaches or like routine sinus headaches, there's a doctor, I think it's called Adam Green or Adam Field or something like that. It's Adam something. He has really great exercises that you can do for like dizziness, vertigo. Just helps relax this sort of part of the head and your suboccipital. Okay. Govita is just accepting. Eventually, with mindfulness, you do learn to accept it. Easier said than done, though, to be fair. Sherry Love. Anxiety is exhausting. Exactly. It is. For the reasons I just said. Okay. Galai0988. I hope I said that right. Gasping for air upon waking up, which leads to panic attack, sucks. I hear you, and most people actually wake up in fight or flight, and in your instance, your fight or flight actually leads to a panic attack. So 2 things you can do this, or that I did that help. 1, as soon as you wake up, go outside and take a 5-minute walk and get sunlight in your eyes. Right? What that does is it activates your circadian rhythm, activates dopamine, helps you have better mood for the rest of the day. The second thing I would also do is do a regulation tool as soon as you wake up. So go through my free course of 7 regulation tools. Pick one that you really like and do that as soon as you wake up in the morning. Make it a habit. Make it like brushing your teeth. It needs to be second nature. The third thing I would do is I would do a message of safety, which is where you notice the space in the room through your eyes and you notice that you are actually safe. So even if you're having like panic symptoms in your room, just notice that there's no lion chasing you, no one's trying to kill you, and notice that you are actually safe, right? And then try meditation. And you do that consistently and you stay patient with yourself, your panic attacks will go away. Sam, what are your thoughts on anxiety symptoms spiking after a breakup? So that's really common, and that happened to me in a couple of breakups when obviously you had a person and now you have more emotions and now you have more anxiety. If your anxiety comes from you being afraid to be alone, then confront that, right? Because a breakup is just a thing that's pointing to what needs healed, if that's the case. All of your anxiety thoughts are about what if I never find someone, or what if I this, what if I that, and it's about the future and you potentially not finding anyone better in the future. That's an inner wound that you actually need to heal with mindfulness and compassion. The second thing is that you just gotta let it ride out. You just gotta let your nervous system and your body and brain realize that you don't need to actually have that person in your life, and what is meant to be will meant to be, and you just use it as a lesson to grow from. It's that whole thing of don't listen to everyone's side after breakup, just watch who has a glow up or whatever. That's kind of true, because one person actually does the work and focuses on themselves, and the other person just goes and dates someone else, so just deal with it as it comes. Let a breakup teach you things. Just keep doing what you're doing. If it spikes, that's okay. Just listen to the feelings. Be with it. Bless me, guys. Okay. Can anxiety go away itself without doing meditation or other stuff? The answer to this is... So, there are people that don't meditate and have gotten over their anxiety. So if you read people's stories, but 99% of, if you look at Reddit or something and you look at people, how did you heal your general anxiety disorder? How did you heal all your anxiety? Most people say they didn't let it control life. They did some sort of mindfulness activity, like meditation, yoga, qigong, whatever it is. People that had physical symptoms used regulation tools. And if it's not that, it's either they really got into the gym, or they really got into running, or they really got into swimming, or they got into nature and walking, and they did something so much, and because of that they became more mindful and they became more aware and present, so they didn't really need the meditation. People like that, yes. But if you mean by other stuff and healthy habits, think of it like this. If I never practiced the guitar, can I expect to be a good musician? Can I expect to be a good guitarist? But if I learn how to tune the strings, if I learn a couple chords, if I learn a couple songs, and I practice every day for months, can I expect to be at least a better guitarist? Yes, you can. So expecting your anxiety to go without doing anything is basically just making a wish. It's just oh, that would be nice kind of thing. But it's I'm not actually being proactive or doing anything to make that happen. You know what I mean? Alright, Sam, don't care to be quiet. I'm not too sure what you're referencing, so I will not make a comment. Please message again if I didn't get it. Gasping for air upon waking, have you ever experienced that? It's panic attack. Yes, I have experienced that. And I've had panic attacks before. It's very scary. Automatically start feeling dizzy. Yeah, your nervous system is in fight or flight and you're gasping for air and your body's not breathing properly. People who are having a panic attack, they're breathing too much, right? So this is why if you can, the first thing I teach people in meditation is to notice your breath as it is, because your breath is connected to your mind, and whenever you're present, you can feel your mind getting more stressed. You can feel your nervous system going into fight or flight because your breath gets more rapid and shallow when you start breathing up here. So if you learn to notice your breath without trying to change it, naturally the breath will slow and deepen, and it'll help cool down the nervous system. It just takes practice, because in the moment you're listening to every thought. Sam BTW, appreciated the dry mouth throat is by far the worst. So I'm not getting tons of water. So the dry mouth in the throat is actually like really real, and this is why. So if you actually practice mindfulness, or you actually start regulating your nervous system, whatever, and you feel your body go out of fight or flight, here are some of the like ways you can know, like physically. Your hands feel warmer. You feel your legs feel warmer, your arms feel warmer, you feel less tension in your body, your vision like widens, your face tension goes, your shoulders drop. But another thing is that your mouth and your eyes can start watering, right? It's like producing saliva is like when you're out of fight or flight. Like I've felt myself be in fight or flight and then go out of fight or flight, and my mouth started salivating, like I can feel the saliva in my mouth. Okay, so how often, Forrest Gate, okay, so how often should I do meditation? In the beginning, every day. Like, do what you absolutely can, but I would really suggest at least 10 to 15 minutes every day. Because what you'll realize is meditation is actually doing less as opposed to doing more, right? And over time, you'll look to enjoy meditation. And the whole point of meditation isn't that you do it for 10-15 minutes. The whole point of meditation is that what you learn in those 10-15 minutes, you learn to integrate with the rest of your life. So before you open up your laptop, you pause. Before you go take a walk, pause. Like, start being more present in your life. It's a practice, right? But I would suggest at least every day. Mowgli, what can I do for the pain on my head? So if you're on about tension headaches, suboccipital exercises, Adam Fields is great. That's the name, Adam Fields, on YouTube. Check him out, he's amazing. Posture, and then the rest is just stress release from being out of fight or flight. So if you're not in fight or flight, you will naturally have less tension, and you will have less headaches, and your body will store less tension and stress. Just like you will feel this happen. Alright, dizziness. Okay, guys. Dizziness, body aches, have every physical symptom possible. I hear you. Nice of you to say, Mowgli. Okay. Did you experience blood pressure issues? Did you experience blood pressure issues? Was put on medication because of that? Glass. So I had high cholesterol when I did a blood test due to the stress, but it didn't get put. I didn't get put on It wasn't high enough that I needed to be put on medication. If that makes sense. Kimmy, I had a panic attack and it lasted about 10 seconds, and I'm actually calm myself down. Go Kimmy, that's a win. Like, the best thing to do with a panic attack is just let it run its course, right? Alright, it's an everyday, all day thing about the strong meds. Okay. And this time, my biggest symptom is indigestion. How do I fix it? Okay. Very good question, since I had loads of gut issues. I had IBS. So, start with what you eat. Don't eat processed shit, eat whole foods, right? Do what you can to manage, right? The second thing is learning to breathe properly from your diaphragm, because your diaphragm and your belly moving, like your rib cage basically expanding, but let's call it belly breathing because that's what is simpler, I guess. But it's really diaphragmatic breathing. You're breathing from your diaphragm. But as you're diaphragmatically breathing or belly breathing, that actually helps digestion. And when you're anxious, you're breathing from your chest, and your diaphragm isn't actually expanding, your torso isn't moving, your belly isn't moving. So you're not digesting as effectively as you think. So start with practicing belly breathing for a few minutes every day. Like, you will feel less anxious as you take your belly breath as well. It'll activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And start with just that. Doing a belly abdominal massage at night helps. Doing yoga for IBS helps. Okay. Selena, you're so cute, man. I appreciate it. Although I kind of feel like I look homeless because I need a haircut and I need to cut my beard. I went to Malta for like a week. Can you repeat about the headaches? Suboccipital exercises, posture, and just practice low stress with meditation. Rach, I feel faintless and imbalanced, so is it anxiety? I did all the blood work and heart, ECG, not able to walk. So there are two things, right? So there's something called PRI, which is postural restoration. So if you have like something wrong with your diaphragm or like imbalances in your body, that could make you feel fight or flight and get symptoms like this. I actually had something like that for me. So because of anxiety, my left psoas was really tight, which is connected to your diaphragm. My breathing was not improper. And because of that, I always felt like I was out of balance. So if it's that, go see a PRI specialist, go see a physiotherapist, a chiropractor. But I would recommend a PRI, strength and conditioning coach, to see if that's the issue. If not, then it's anxiety. Your nervous system is in fight or flight, and those are the physical symptoms you get. Kimmy, thank you. You're welcome. How long did I have anxiety? For 10 years. For 10 years. I've been in fight or flight for as long as I can remember, pretty much. That's just what my norm was. Right, Kush. Alright guys, I'm just going to answer a couple and then I have to go because I have a group call. So, Kush, I have been in fight or flight for about 10 weeks. I'm on Escitalopram and mirtazapine, my bad. Okay, there's no question, my bad. So, when acceptance does help. Acceptance, compassion, and investigation. There's a thing called RAIN that I teach in meditation. Can I ask what was your training was? So my training is my life experience, right? So I've done nervous system courses, I've done meditation courses, but my real training was actually having anxiety, dealing with it, and showing my journey and proof on my social media as evidence. That's what my training is. Kimmy, you're welcome. Oh. Okay, this is the last question I'm answering, and then I'm going to let you guys go. But this will be recorded in my free group, and I'll upload it. So, Raj, then it's anxiety. Then you just got to manage your tension, manage your stress with meditation, regulation skills, exposure therapy, healthy habits. The thoughts are okay. The thoughts are okay. You're just trying to get mindfulness of your thoughts. That's the point, right? The thoughts are not the problem. If you fight thoughts with thoughts, it's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It doesn't work. It makes it worse. Right. Balano Leono. That's a beautiful name. I'm sorry I butchered it with the pronunciation. So what advice can you give to someone with health anxiety? So what I would say, so with health anxiety, you want to notice you constantly thinking about it. You want to notice hypervigilance. So this is why I would go back to meditation, so you can notice when are you thinking about it and obsessing about it. The second thing is knowing and on this mindset shift of like, what can you actually control? So when I had IBS, right, I can't actually control the physical symptoms I'm feeling at the moment, right? Trying to force your body to do something doesn't work. But I can control what I eat. I can control if I drink alcohol. I can control managing my stress through mindfulness and exercise and so on. So to focus on things you can control. So being proactive is really good. Okay. Did I ever take medication? I answered this earlier. Made me worse, so I didn't do it long term. Tried Forest Good. I tried meditation and made my anxiety level go up. I guess maybe I'm not doing well. I know I said that was the last question, but these are pretty good questions. So this is common where as you start meditating, you become more aware of your anxiety. And because you're now more aware of your anxiety and all the thoughts are happening, you think you're doing it bad and it's not working. That's not the case. You're just becoming more aware of your actual inner experience instead of being unconscious about it. That's it. But over time, you'll notice when you're thinking and you'll get lost more. But you got to kind of go through this phase. Like everyone usually goes through this phase when they're meditating. Any tips to practice mindfulness work, especially when you're trying to be people? Like, so mindfulness is something that you can do anytime, anywhere. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it when I'm meditating. I'm doing it when I'm eating. So it's just about, it's like kind of like a skill. It's kind of like listening in a different way. So whatever you're doing at work, just do it mindfully. Notice your attitude. Are you trying to feel different? Are you trying to make something happen? If you're doing something at work, try doing it slowly. Try feeling your body as you're doing it. When you're in a conversation, notice the sound of someone's voice and the sound of other things. Notice your breath as you're talking. Notice your breath as you're working. Okay, that was amazing. Thank you so much for the likes, guys, and thank you so much for the questions. And I will see you in the next live. And Emma, you can't cure derealization because derealization is a symptom of anxiety that happens from nervous system dysregulation. So once you heal your anxiety and start regulating your nervous system, it goes away, right? It's just a side effect of it. Derealization isn't the root cause. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later. All right.